right. So welcome everyone to the Coach Kenyatte Show. I am your host, Coach Kenyatte Tidwell, the hostess with the mostest, leadership performance coach. And my awesomeness is helping visionary leaders create systems, processes, and plans that globalize their impact. And so you are here at the Coach Kenyatte Show, and we are everyday people doing extraordinarily amazing things. We are bringing you topics and resources and tools, all that have to do with helping you to grow your impact globally in life, business, parenting, and advocacy. And so today we have got an extra special guest giving us a wonderful start to this Coach Kenyatte Show, brand new, jumping off for this the end of the 2020 year. So thank you so much, Guerlince. We have known each other for a while, so I'm going to let everyone get to know you a little bit better by letting you introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thank you, Kayet. It is, again, a pleasure. I'm very humbled to have this opportunity to reconnect with you again. After so many years when we're on that coaching class program together, I can't believe it's always like 8 years now. It's just like,
Yes.
whew, time fly by. It feels like it was yesterday. We were both on the same actually cohorts and stuff, and no same. But again, I'm very humbled to have this opportunity to share a few words with your audience, and thanks again for having me.
Yes. And so what I wanted to do is just highlight some of your accomplishments over the years and have you talk a little bit about yourself. So one of the things that I really appreciated as I was kind of following you on your social media platforms and seeing some of the work that you've been doing is your background. And as we were talking, just preparing for this segment, something resonated with me, and you were talking about clarity. And so today's segment is going to be clarity. Is it really for you? And so what I wanted us to kind of touch on a little bit is how you came into your field. Most people do not know, but you are CEO of 5 Reasons LLC. And so I want you to share a little bit about how you came into that business idea, what got you into the coaching arena and the consultancy field. So just tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. All I could say about the grace of God, my journey started about 30 years ago. I was very fortunate to, my parents are from Haiti. My dad migrated here back in the mid 70s, came here and had a great life back home, but no, he was searching for better opportunities, and he migrated to the United States in the mid 70s. And then from there, he didn't have his papers. He worked his way and do what he had to do. And he bought his whole family. Then the fifth one, I believe, between my dad has about total 9 kids, and my dad's side and from my mom's side, there's 3 of us. So my dad only had me and with my mom. So back in Haiti, I grew up with my mom, single mother, and things. No, so that particular journey, I think that's why it's all started. Raising by a single mother, and by my also with my grandmother as well, who's always been around. So
Wow.
those 2 women has been my pillar in terms of laying the groundwork foundation. I credit them to the men that I am now, in terms of at a very early age, there was some foundation that they had placed in me, spiritual foundation number one, in terms of knowing the word of God and church and those type of things. And even though as I grew up, I went my own way, do my own thing, but at the end of the day, I found myself where it all started, and that's why it just kind of resonate, even though in the Bible, it's just like raise a child the right way, he'll always find his path. It's like a little dog. It just like it don't you remember where he grew up. He might get lost to different owners, but when he's back in the neighborhood, he'll always remember. And so it's the same thing for me in terms of going back to that spiritual foundation
Mm.
that kind of shaped me. From a child, as a child to the men that I am now. Now move back, my fast forward, couple years later in 1990, I came here. I was 14 years old. Came to a country where you did not speak the language and
Mm.
try to adjust, and peer pressure as a teenage boys. A lot of obstacles in addition to the language barriers. So, but no, through it all, um, I knew what I wanted. That was one of the with my dad and my sibling. They're just like, hey, listen, you're here, you're on the land of opportunity. So the best thing that I could done for you is just bring you here. So now this is the opportunity that I offer you. It's up to you what you do with it. No, so you could either waste it or make the best of it. So for me, um, when my dad sit me down and with all my siblings and um, going over that lesson, that life lesson, it's just like, listen, not gonna be in your case. This is no, you're on a land of opportunity. This is a fair playing field. There will be obstacles, there will be things, but you gotta learn the ropes. At the end of the day, you know, whatever you decide to do, no, you'll do it. No. So for me, even though I did not understand it back then, that was my first exposure in terms of goal setting. That was exposure in terms of
Wow.
the potential. That was exposure for me. Just okay, you mean to tell me I could be anything that I want? So I'm like it was just like the sky is the limit, whatever you do with the opportunity. So from there I went to high school, graduate high school, and went to college. Funny thing is, when I got to college, all people that I connected with on campus, there was only two majors: criminal justice, or business. All the
Wow.
black folks people who looked like me on campus, they only had two majors. I went to school like in Boston, where I'm from, Massachusetts. No, Boston. So it's like all the college where I was all at that particular time, it was like most of my people of color on campus is like business major or criminal justice, because that school had that programs. It was one of the best program around that time, and the state for those two, especially for criminal justice. And I took the path of criminal justice, but really never, it was just something to do, basically. By the time I graduated, that's when the dot com bubble, it was really hot.
Mm-hmm.
So right out of college, I got a job. I will start doing. That's when I went into the technical field,
Wow.
working in the IT with a dot-com company, and that's where my career really start. I started doing help desk and things, and front desk. Got my uh, certification in Microsoft system and things like that. From there, it evolved into project coordinator, start doing project work, and then later on expand to project management. Um, so
Okay.
never a day. So back then, never a day. I didn't use whatever criminal justice. It was just like it spanned off, and then from there, just moved in. Fit into non-profit work in terms of I from the corporate world. I moved into the nonprofit organization, got a job, but I was always active in my community, even
Mm.
before the whole nonprofits things.
How
I
did you make that transition from corporate to nonprofit, and what was it that made you take that jump?
Well, first of all, even before the jump was because of the work that I know. I was doing in terms of project management, managing different projects. So it would just come natural to me. But in addition, I was the type of person way back, even since high school, I was always involved in the community doing different things. Even in high school, I was vice president of the clubs and the student clubs, student government and things, and then involved. So leadership involved in those type of work was come natural to me. I always loved to get involved in those things, and from there, there was an opportunity, and I joined a board of, that's when I met my mentor around that time, who was running a local nonprofit, and really took me under his wing and things, learning, about the whole nonprofit world. And I become involved in the board from there, just like start serving on different boards. And that's when I got a job as another organizations. I was moving to, because of my project background work.
Mhm.
So it was a program manager, so where I was managing a grant, a federal grant for regarding HIV and non HIV, um, around the community where I live, for young adult and stuff. It's those type of project work. So it's always similar basically. So as
Mhm.
a program director, I managed that programs, and all along I was still involved. So that's how, like, my you know that's how I started to open my own business in terms of
Mhm.
the consulting practice, based on those things that I learned over the years. On the side, I start working with other nonprofit organizations. But to answer your question, to go back, that light bulb, since we're going to dive into clarity, for me, that comes after, uh in 2010, after the Haiti earthquake. uh,
Mhm.
so
I
that's
remember.
when, for me, yeah, so that's when, that's like, okay, that's when I found my calling
Wow.
into the nonprofit sector. And just like, okay, what I wanted to do, the path, the industry that I wanted to, um, spend the rest of my professional career doing. So that's why it's all started.
Awesome. And so with that, was that when you formed Five Reasons, or let's tie all of that together to see how
Sure,
you
sure.
got into.
Sure. Five Reasons is the project that came this year while we
Okay.
were on quarantine. Uh,
Okay.
back,
Oh.
yeah. So that's when I started Five Reasons. But even before the Five Reasons, I want to take you back in terms of you know how God was able to open my eyes in terms of what I wanted, the path that I wanted to take.
Mm.
Um, that's when I started to really become a consultant, work, get more involved in the nonprofit sector, and set up my consulting service. I launched my since then I launched a consulting company, and to work with other smaller nonprofit organization, help them. And even over the years, I was able, I serve on the role as executive directors for nonprofit organizations, and serve on many different boards, which led me last year. I wrote my first book, and
Woohoo.
yeah, called A to Z from of nonprofit organizations. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so
Congratulations.
thank you very much. So this book is like more like a guide, basically, how to start, run, and manage a nonprofit organization. Whether it's in a small or large scale, grassroots, it doesn't matter. So you could use it as a reference guide. Basically, every subject, every chapter on the book, it's based, like, for example, I based them on a letter of the alphabet, like,
Hmm.
example A, accounting; B, boards; C, communication. So basically, all the tools that you need, I packed it as a reference guide. You just say, okay, um, each letter of the alphabet, serve as a subject around the nonprofit sector, basically.
Right.
So and that's how I started it. And then, in regard to go back to uh, the Five Reasons. The idea of Five Reasons started when we went on lockdown earlier, like, in March, early March. And here we are again. I'm just like, okay.
Right.
Everybody was panicking, and everyone, what are we gonna do? And this is that. And I had to ask myself a couple of questions, because here I am. I had a bunch of plans that I had for the year, how I was gonna do things, and like no thing. And then now, all of a sudden, with COVID, it's like, whoa, what's going on? The whole world went into a panic, so, and that's when I start, really, uh, discovered a few things about myself. I started asking myself, some hard questions.
Yes.
And then, and I just sit down there, and for me, it was, I started to develop a personal blueprint for my life.
Mm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
Hard question, who am I? If something happened, how do I want to be remembered? you
Right.
know
Right.
so just like, what are my strengths? There's a couple of questions. So just like, basically, it's, I compiled them, and as I was reading, the word, and come across, like, the meaning of number five. Five represent grace, five represent favor, those type of things. So that's how I'm able to put it into like a book, that, five reasons. So basically, the five reasons, it's a journal, it's a goal setting personal development journal that I use
Awesome.
for myself. I created it for myself,
Mm-hmm.
on paper. And I'm like, sometimes when you create something, like, wow, it help you so, so much, in terms of bring so much out of it. Like, I can't keep it to myself. So I decided to turn it into a book. A book. I didn't write just another book, but I just, put it in terms of a a calendar, a workbook calendar, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That could just, like, people could use, and for them to develop to develop their own self, in terms of going through their own journey,
To
help them,
help give them clarity.
yeah, to give clarity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the questions, some of the questions that are on there, it really, bring you clarity in many, many, many level, from your professional, from personal, spiritual, relational, and every aspect of your life. It will give you the clarity. And the good thing about it is, just like, everything's based on five answers. So the questions, you got to come up with five answers. That kind of, because it's easier to come with one, two, three. The hardest is the four and five.
Right.
So that five, the fifth one, that's the hardest one, and that's the one that does it for you. So that's why I kind of based it on five reasons. And then, from there, I was able to translate that into several T-shirts and stuff, and launch a product line. Let me see if I
Yeah, let's see your products.
can. Yeah, some of the products that I was able to, like, think different, like, some of the T-shirts, like,
Oh, I love that.
you know,
Awesome. Awesome.
that's one of them. And I had another one, uh, that I did, in terms of, that's the women one,
Awesome.
so
Excellent. Excellent work.
yeah,
Excellent.
so basically different, you know, messages, five, but really empowered. And then, later on this year, I kind of definitely take that idea and expand it into a self-expression message platform, basically, so which allow people to express themselves based on five reasons. So whatever, like, for example, five reasons I love the Lord, five reasons I love my wife, five reasons I'm a mother, five reasons I love my son, I love my, whatever your five reason is, come up with it and things. And but I put those into messages and stuff like that. So moving forward, try to work things out in terms of creating a much larger platform to share with other people. You know.
I absolutely appreciate that. That is phenomenal. And so when we're looking at clarity and is this really for you, the thing that really resonates in my mind is that personal journeys and coming into a deep discovery and understanding of ourselves is so super challenging.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that, when you're talking about clarity and things is that number one, you got to know yourself, to have clarity stuff within. Because a lot of times when people ask you, who are you? The first answer is like, oh, I'm such and such, or I'm Dr. such and such. We go by title, we go by our names, we go by whatever. But that's not who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that kind of sets you to the journey. You got to find out who you are, who you are as a person. Like, for me, like, when who am I? I'm a father, I'm a loving father of my son, for my son. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a social activist. That's who I am. I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm a son. No, that's what so my title doesn't represent me from who I am, a doctor such and such. No, that's not who I am, So you gotta deep down to know who you are. I'm a,
Mm-hmm.
so first and foremost, I'm a man of faith. When people
Mm-hmm.
like can ask me who I'm a man of faith. I'm a servant of God, of the Most High. Whatever you believe, whatever His name is for you, it doesn't matter. We all believe in a greater spiritual force, or
Right.
whatever. So I don't go by it like religion and things like that. I'm more focused on deep inside the spirituality. So that's why it's all started. That's the even the foundation. If you don't understand who you are, you can't have a vision. You can't have clarity on anything.
Right.
That's why a lot of time people got lost, on who they are, because they don't have their identity,
Right.
you
And
know.
most of them are too scared. The pathway to clarity and the pathway to self-discovery, it can seem very daunting and overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
right. And so one of my words that I use when I'm talking to my clients is willingness. Are you willing?
Exactly. Believe it or not, a lot of people are not willing. Personally, my coaching, I coach primarily executives and board members,
Mm-hmm.
for nonprofits. So that's the area, because it's so vast. I don't want to just net with everybody. I don't work with everybody. So just like I just work with executive, like, if you're an executive director, you're a founder, board members, when I go do board training, those are the things, like, so I incorporated my personal coaching into that boardroom, into that executive, and just like, helps you understand who you are. So therefore that develop you to be a better leader, a better manager, a better
Mm-hmm.
founder, a better executive director, a better board member, based on those information. So those are the, like, core people that I work with, and think, versus leave it, broadly, and so people, I feel that I could create a better impact that
Right.
way, because people was already, have a goal to make an impact. So I can, to tie that in, make it not only a personal impact, but as well as a community social impact as well.
That is phenomenal. And so when we're looking at the main topic, clarity, is it really for you? And we've touched a little bit on how the journey can be a little daunting and a little overwhelming. But if you have that willingness, it will actually pay off in the end. The main question, is it really for you, is just a poke in the brain to say, look, if you just take this step forward, kind of like what your dad was saying, anything is available to you.
Yeah, anything is possible. Anything is possible. It's up to you at the end of the day, to opportunities always knocking.
Hmm.
you know it's up to you to what you want to do with that opportunities, and opportunities come in different ways. Because let's take 2020 for example.
Yes, let's.
Yes, it's been it's, again, it comes down to perspective.
Right.
As hard as it has been, like, for a lot of people, now they're gonna tell you, just like, oh, can't wait for this 2020 to be over, is this is that. But the other part of it, you're still alive.
Yes, talk about it.
You're not on the hospital breathing with a tube. You still have an opportunities, by God grace.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that, I'm not trying to be insensitive. You know, of course, I lost like, 7 family members already this year. So I know how that could be. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, it's the adversity, how you talk with adversity, no matter what, because you could see it. And it's, to me, 2020 has been the greatest blessing. Let me
Yes.
see, the reason I said that, because 2020, with the epidemic, it removed the curtain in society, in the whole
Yes.
world. It
Yes.
give you
Yes.
a really, it give you a clear, before, with the whole world was operating in the front of a curtain. You didn't know what was going on in the back. You know, that was what's happening before. But now, it's just like that part of it has been removed. It gives
Yes.
you the clear, naked truth. What
Yes.
you took, what you thought that was, safe and possible, and this and that, it revealed like nothing. you know all the business model that was there before, oh yeah, it's just like strong, it revealed that, you never, all the fun, you never had a business model. Business has been, again, who's been operated for 15 years, things, they finally realize, whoa, wait a minute. you know our
Right.
business model was never that strong. Our marriages was never that strong.
Mm.
Our relationship was never that strong. So it
Mm.
revealed everything from every single categories.
It's like
That-
forced clarity, basically.
oh yes, yeah, exactly. So if you're talking about clarity, 2020 has brought clarity to many
Yes.
people.
Yes.
So 2020 is the perfect clarity. How could I say that? It's perfect example of clarity, because
It's
it
a clarifying
reveals,
agent.
you
That's
know
what it was.
yeah, it basically, yeah, it clarifies, it opens doors, like, just like, hey, now you could see. Before, it would have been like a thing in the past to work from home is like, luxury and things like that. But now, with what happened with 2020, it was just like, whoa, I didn't know it's possible to do that. You didn't have to know this, do certain things certain ways. So again, it comes down to your perspective.
Yes.
Perception. No, I know what they say. Perception doesn't have to be reality, but in a sense, it's up to you what you make of your own perception, or how do you, what perspective are you looking at 2020? If in the eye of clarity, because it's clear, it revealed everything.
Yes, it did.
Where we're heading, where we are, because it's like, for example, you didn't want to face the naked truth.
Yes. Woo. Mm.
So right now we force you to force naked, the whole naked truth. That's
Yep.
what the truth is, in front of us. We can't no longer hide it. So now, as bad as it is, what are you going to do about it? We still have 2021 ahead. We still have no. We could still look forward to 2030, the next 10 years, the next 9 years. What are you
Right.
gonna do? You could sit there and just complain about but the fact that you're still alive, you're just like, no thing is like, but because no, we are wired to speak life and death.
Woo. Mm.
So no matter what it does, and I'm not even
Power of
speaking
the
from,
tongue, right?
yeah, I'm not even speaking from a spirituality perspective, but it's
Hmm.
just like, from reality perspective. If you watch a movie, The Secret, if you in the personal development space, if you want to know from the spiritual, it doesn't. The word that you speak come to reality. Our words are just like seeds.
Yes.
The whole world, the environment is the plant, is the soil. And anytime you plant something, it doesn't happen tomorrow. It takes
Right.
time for it to grow, for it to develop. So that's how it is. So based on our perspective, we still have 10 years, for things to come for fruition. You still have 2021 is around the corner to come.
Hmm.
But yet we sit here and just like, oh, um 2020 is just like it's been tough year. Yes, it has been
It
tough for
is.
everybody, but you're still alive, you know.
By
What you
God's
gonna do
grace for
about it?
those that are.
Yes, the dead are gone. Yes, because at the end of the day, it comes down to like you and I. It's like the tripod.
Hmm.
Our body again with the clarity.
Hmm.
You know, that body that we are. It's not who we are.
Right.
It's the spirit. It's the
Hmm.
soul. That body is the host. It's like the triangle. So you got you got the body, the spirit, and the soul. It's just like when our loved one is gone, the physical aspect of it are gone. The physical body is no longer there. We cannot see. We can see them in pictures. However, the spirit always live with us. The
Right.
spirit. That's why so at the end of the day, it's the spirit that makes you.
Right.
It's the soul that makes you, you know, because that's all just like a lot I don't know if you have that experience. It's just like you feel like somebody will pass you, but sometimes you feel that presence, you feel that spirit there,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
because at the end of it, that's who we are. When we go to bed, when we sleep, it's our spirit is wondering like the things. So without the spirit coming back, we're done. It's that spirit again. It's just like what you control. That's what giving you the clarity.
Right.
You're seeking for clarity. You just gotta, okay, how do I want my spirit to remain? How do I want my spirit like no? Because why do you think I don't know if you do yoga and things like that? Because for people practicing yoga, when they think it's a spiritual connections,
Right.
so the spirit did that, you're like, okay, that's what they release the body and things. They will be able to stretch the body to things. No, it's all in your mind. That's part of the soul is control. Again, comes down to clarity,
Right.
having understand. Now I don't want to go, go on
Well,
and on and on, but
I think those are some really great points. And I wanted to just travel to a land where some of us, just like you said, you've had to deal with loss. I've had to deal with loss, not necessarily from the COVID standpoint,
mhm, mhm.
but there are so many people that have dealt with loss during COVID. And I wanted to shed some additional perspective that in the midst of that loss, we can still, the living, honor those that have passed on by continuing to press forward. Um, like I said, I have not lost anyone to COVID, but I have lost quite a few in my life. My mother passed, two of my brothers. One of them was my baby brother, my grandmother, my grandfather, two grandfathers. And grief alone
Mhm.
is a beast.
Yep.
Grief during a pandemic when you cannot use your normal methods and means to get out into nature and do the normal things that you would do is basically compounded bad interest.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so during this space, just wanting to acknowledge those that may have suffered loss and encourage them to just continue to hold on, and look at the legacy of the ones that they lost and use some of that legacy from them to continue to allow them to pave their path forward, and allow that situation to create some semblance of positive clarity for their life moving forward. um, that's like an advanced step in grief, after you've actually gotten through the loss, to be able to get to that point where there is a semblance of peace and calm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the only way I can describe it, because I know for a number of years after I lost, felt that loss. I think it was a good 5 years after which is not a happy thing for those who had just experienced loss. But it was like 5 years after when I finally stopped feeling numb.
Wow.
And was able to start addressing it. But I got counseling.
That's
And
important.
so for anyone who may be, tuning into this and watching, do not go through that by yourself. Do not go through it alone. The one thing about COVID is that it's made everyone switch their business models. And so a lot of the counseling services that would have been something that you had to go in person to is now virtual.
Yep.
So I just wanted to, acknowledge you all, those of you that might have been experiencing some loss, to take this opportunity to get some counseling, some licensed professional counseling to deal with the grief. Like I said, I've gone through it so many times, and I don't think I would be where I am today without it.
Okay.
So just wanted to put that plug in. But yeah, going back to the topic of clarity, 2020 has been a huge clarifying agent for our lives. And being able to go through just the pandemic tragedy alone and come out on the other side and be able to say, hey, look, despite this, I am still going to press forward is a huge thing, and it takes so much. But the positive aspect of it is that it builds additional resilience.
Yep.
And it builds additional courage, and it builds a platform that allows us not to fall back, but to continue to move forward. So it's like it kind of solidifies that one level that by God's grace, we will not fall below again.
Absolutely. You're absolutely, you just nail it on the coffin, you nailed the nail in the coffin, because you say something that's uh, that was key. You said, you used the word legacy.
Yeah.
And that would be the legacy of, of our loved ones. They want to see us to do good. They want to see us carry on. So for us, the proper way to honor the legacy
Yes.
is to carry on.
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, Something that they were passionate about. If there was a cause that they were passionate about, carry on that cause.
Yes. Yes.
you know just like, if there was something, whatever they stood for while they were living, go back, like, your brother is, you lost, and, just like, there's something that they passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
try to carry on that legacy for them. And that's one of the key things that we have to teach and leave for our children, is the legacy. um, because that's really, really, that's something that's, I can't emphasize how important that is, really, to um, carry on for our kids.
Yes.
Because look, to leave a legacy for our kids, for our children, the next generation to come, to have a blueprint for them, to follow through, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and based on our own life. And for me, I lost my mom back in 1992, and,
Sorry
later,
to hear
like,
that.
with my, my grandmother. But again, the legacy lived on in me,
Mm-hmm.
because is that, I wouldn't be the man that I am. The legacy, how the legacy lived through me,
Yes.
is the thing that they taught me at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
you know for example, that become a habit, a daily habit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Every day when I wake up, to pray, to
Mm-hmm.
God, just like, show me your way. It's like, give me a prayer. I still remember that prayer, all no since I was like 5 years old. Force me. So I'm passing on that to my son. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
I do him, like, okay, have you done your devotions? Just like, so he has something that, every day when he wakes up, the first thing that he does, he after he prays, the first thing he does is confession. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad. And, so, he done it so much, it become repetitive. I have him. It's the same thing. It's a legacy. My mom had passed me to
Mm-hmm.
that. Spend time on the word. Like, I used to hate it. as a kid, just like, why am I supposed to do this and blah, 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 blah. But now I loved it. It just
Mm,
like, I loved it. That was the biggest, thing. The other thing that, she passed the legacy that, she leave in me is that learning how to do the little things, learning how to, just not depends, even fold my clothes, iron my clothes, those type of thing. And, even learn how to cook. So I won't always, um,
be able to be
exactly.
self-sufficient.
Exactly. To be,
Hmm.
depends on someone to do it for me, this
Right.
type of thing. And that has prepared me to be to done better in my relationship, and with my spouse and things like that. It's just like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. I understand, certain things. So that's why it's a really important um foundation, basically. I should say that needs to be addressed. That's how we could carry on
Yes.
our loved one.
Yes, that foundational legacy is everything. Is definitely everything. And I am honoring your mother and your grandmother and your father for giving you that legacy. And I'm honoring you for carrying it on because it is a choice.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, it's always no choice. You have a choice that what you're gonna do. To you, you may choose to carry it on. You may choose to leave it on because as a teenager growing up, I'm not gonna lie, I get in trouble and things, and the regular teenager things. You make your parents tell you certain things and blah 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 blah. But it's just like, oh, you go on your own, and you certain things you had to find it the hard way. You know, so
Right.
that's what it is. You know.
So, and thank you for that background. I mean, that you sharing a little bit of insight into your history and your legacy and the legacy of your family has been amazing. And I know that your son will have, that same experience like you being able to understand it. My brothers, um, it's kind of funny because as I was kind of like the mom
Mm-hmm.
because I am like 10 years, at least 10 years older than them. And
Mm-hmm.
so later on in life, they came back and they said, you know what, we couldn't stand it. Both of my boys did this. They came back and said, we couldn't stand it when you were raising us and we didn't appreciate it. You were so hard on us. And then after they finished fussing, they said, but thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Thank
Yep. Yep.
you for
Yep.
being so hard. Thank you for everything that you did. This paved the way for me to make these decisions in life. And I mean, there is no greater reward or treasure than that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This is like, you can't, how could I say, you can't put a price tag
right.
to there's certain things you cannot put a price tag to it. Absolutely, no. No matter how much you tried, you cannot
Hmm.
put a price tag. It's just like, wow.
Yes.
It's just like, it comes down to like, there's no word that could express it, you know.
Hmm. Hmm. So we are coming up on the hour mark. We are right about 43 minutes in. And so I wanted to do something I enjoy doing for the end of all of our shows, which is 3 key takeaways and 3 top leadership skills. So let's start with the top 4. 3 top leadership skills that you believe or were critical and vital to your personal success.
Number one is humbleness.
Mm-hmm.
um Being humble.
Mm-hmm.
Being humble, or I should say being grateful.
Mm-hmm.
uh Number two, give back.
Mm. Okay. And 3?
Number 3, being appreciative. Appreciate, live in the moment. Appreciate the moment. Because a lot of times we don't live the moment, we don't appreciate the moment until it's too late, or until like because a moment like this, like for example our call right now, it's going to become a history in a year and months to come and a year to come. Why not taking the time to enjoy it? Because
Right.
a lot of time it's sometimes it's just like, oh man, I wish I could go back in the high school days and think I wish I could go back in this. No, it's just like live the moment, because we so much I wish,
Right.
and unfortunately we can't. So that's why it's important to live the moment, you know,
Mm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
being grateful, being
Live the
appreciative.
moment.
Yes.
That sounds like another t-shirt.
Uh,
Okay, so that was 3 leadership skills. So what would be 3 takeaways from this talk today on clarity, and is it really for you? What would be 3 key takeaways
sure.
that
Three
you
key
would like
takeaways I
people
would
to
say.
have?
Sure. Understand who you are. Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Understand who you are.
Okay.
Understand your strength.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least?
And understand your quality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now that's a heavy-weighted one. Explain that so that others may be able to really connect with that, understanding your quality. So I know you were running down a list, telling us before, my title is not who I am, but you ran down a list of qualities that you possess that show people who you are. So talk to us a little bit about understanding your quality.
Understand your qualities in terms of who you are, and make and respect to what you stand for.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Your character.
Yes.
Your qualities, like, okay, what type of person are you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you reliable? Are you a caring person?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a loving person?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a giver? Those are important, qualities. So you gotta understand what quality. You gotta take a step back. I think right now is the best time to do it. Find yourself, explore yourself in the journey. Ask yourself the hard questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and one of the hardest questions you have to ask yourself. Okay, try to create. Imagine you creating your own your urology. It's just like, okay, I'm going to eulogize myself.
Mm-hmm. Eulogy. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what would other people say about me?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, when you're gone, they could tell. No, it's just like, what do you want people to say about you? No, you say it to
And
yourself.
live that now.
Believe that now. Say it to yourself now. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I am a person. I am a lovable person. I am a kind person. I am a loving person. I am a whatever. You just gotta find. That's what the quality. Each of us has our own quality.
Yes.
So that's what, once you understand that, you plug all 3 elements into it, and just
Mm-hmm.
that will give you your own, that'll give you the clarity that you're looking for, as for you, not for anybody, not for your spouse, not for your kids, not but for you. That would allow you to be at peace.
Right. Because most people don't understand, no matter what it is that you do, if you haven't taken care of you first, you really are not being able to serve in a spirit of excellence anybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Got to bring your full self to the table.
Absolutely.
So one of my personal takeaways from this talk is don't fear clarity. Be willing.
Be willing.
Um,
Be willing to take a chance on you, because see,
yes. Come on now. Oh, that sounds like another t-shirt. Come on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Be willing to take a chance on you. Awesome. Awesome. So I wanted to say thank you so much, Guerlince, for taking this time to get us started off with a bang, going into the end of the year. For those of you that have enjoyed this talk that we've done and you would love to connect with Guerlince, tell them how they can get in contact with you and how they can connect with you on social media and your platforms.
Sure, sure. You could connect with me on it's my name on uh, LinkedIn. Guerlince is Guerlince, and my last name Semerzier. It's on LinkedIn, and on Twitter it's the same thing. It's my name, Guerlince. Everything is Guerlince. If you and they could Google my name as well. Go to Google.com, whatever, and just Google me, Guerlince, Guerlince, and all my informations are on there. And Facebook, it's the same thing. Lince and Semerzier, Semerzier, Lance Semerzier on Facebook. And what else? What's the other one? On Instagram, Guerlince. Yeah, I'm on and same thing, Guerlince, Guerlince_Semerzier. Could plug in with me, and it could go to www.5reason.life, LIFE. 5reason, number 5, and then the word reasons, and .life, life. They
Awesome.
could send info, or they could email me, Guerlince@guerlince.com. That's the easiest way to touch base with me, to my email, Guerlince@guerlince.com.
Awesome. So thank you for dropping those tools of wisdom for us. I'm going to go back over the 3 leadership skills that Guerlince shared with us. Number 1, humbleness, being humble, being grateful. Number 2, giving back. Number 3, being appreciative, appreciate the moment, live in the moment. And then the 3 top takeaways from this particular talk, understanding who you are, understanding your strengths, and understanding your qualities, what you stand for, your character. So this has been the Coach Kenyatte Show with Guerlince Semerzier.
It's fine, but it's been a pleasure. It's been a humble pleasure. I thank you, and
Thank
for
you.
having this opportunity to share this talk with your listeners, and with your audience. It's just like, you are doing an amazing thing. Keep up what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're transforming lives.
By
You
God's
may not
grace.
be able to see it. God, you're living your purpose. God, we each have been put in this earth for a purpose, but it's our purpose is not tied to our wallet or our possession, materialistic possession. It's based on the impact that you're making on somebody's life. Someone probably listening to your show today, and who knows what they're going through. Just one word that they hear could help transform and help their life take another turn. So thank you for using your platform to contribute to humanity. Keep up the
Thank you.
good work, and may God bless you. Continue, keep up the faith.
Thank you so much. So we have had a wonderful word dipped in spirituality, dipped in clarity, steeped in quality, and just bathed in a lot of good memories and friendship and legacy. And so what we want you to do is just continue to pay all of this forward. We're hoping that from this talk that you have received some type of inspiration and motivation for your life, that you've received some type of movement forward for clarity within what you are doing. And if you have, we're asking that you share it. Not only apply it to yourself, but share it with those in need. And so I am your host, Coach Kenyatte Tidwell. And I just wanted to let you guys know that this is only the beginning. This is the first show. But one of the last for 2020, whoop, whoop, we're going to go on ahead and dust 2020 right,
Yep, yep,
right,
yep,
right under the rug, get on to 2021.
yep.
Because for those of you that have had the opportunity to see past the travesty of 2020, you'll be able to see the victory in 2021. So I want you guys to not only connect with Guerlince and on his platform, www.5reasons.life, but also connect with me. I'm on social media at Coach Kenyatte on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, as well as you can check me out and join my, or actually sign up for my leadership, what I call it, my Visionary Leaders newsletter at coachkenyatte.com. So we're so glad that you guys joined us today. Definitely leave comments in the comment section. We'll also be, I'll be sharing those with him. So if you have any questions and you'd like to have him answer your questions, or you just like to go back over some of the ways that you can connect with him, leave those in the comment section and we'll definitely be reaching out to you guys. So have a blessed day. We're on our way into a brand spanking new week. Just remember, you have one life to live. Make the most of it. Make your impact. Live your life in clarity. And most definitely, whatever you're doing, remember, you have the opportunity to build a legacy, not just for your children, but for any of those individuals that are coming behind you. You matter. Have a blessed one, you guys, and thank you so much.